The film begins by explaining a virus depicted in a painting. This virus is called ID7, or idiosyncratic neurotic disinhibition, often referred to simply as ID7. It causes extreme stress hormone spikes in individuals, leading them to commit irrational, impulsive, and even violent acts. The virus wreaks havoc globally. However, under the law, actions carried out while infected are considered involuntary, meaning perpetrators are not held legally responsible. We then meet Derek Cho. Derek is an employee at a corporate law firm who has been steadily climbing the ranks. But as he rises, he increasingly feels disconnected from his sense of self. After arriving at his office floor, Derek notices a female assistant being harshly scolded by her superior. Derek steps in, confronting the man, and threatens him with a compromising video, forcing him to back off. He then proceeds to his own office. Derek becomes irritated upon discovering that his favorite coffee mug is missing. Shortly afterward, he meets a woman named Melanie Cross. She is there to appeal on behalf of her client, asking Derek not to foreclose on her home. Derek, loyal to his firm's clients, immediately rejects her plea. In response, Melanie defiantly lights a cigarette in the office. Derek considers leaving, but stays when Melanie starts revealing more about her situation. It turns out the house in question is actually her own. Even after hearing her story, Derek refuses to help, and Melanie is escorted out. Not long after that, Derek drinks a glass of water, unaware that it has been contaminated with the ID7 virus. He isn't the only one infected. The same man he previously blackmailed is already showing symptoms. Derek then heads up to the 8th floor to meet Kara Powell, the firm's COO. Derek sees her as manipulative and nicknames her the Siren. When he finds his missing coffee mug in her office, he confronts her. Kara dismisses his complaints and brushes off his frustrations regarding the increasing number of client complaints being dumped on him. Together, they head to the upper floor to meet their boss, John Towers, the CEO. During a tense meeting using visual charts to analyze a case, Kara's biting remarks cause Derek to lose his composure and be ejected from the room. Frustrated, Derek visits a colleague named Ewan, who is calmly meditating in his office. Derek vents to Ewan about his growing problems. Moments later, Kara enters and coldly informs Derek that he is being officially terminated. Derek threatens to escalate the issue to the 9, the firm's board of 9 directors. However, the decision has already been made. John Towers has convened with the board, and they authorize HR head Lester McGill to carry out the termination. Lester, known throughout the company as the intimidating Hatchet Man, brings Derek into his office and asks him to sign a termination agreement. Derek initially refuses, knowing that if he signs, he would take the legal fall for the firm's shady dealings. He demands to speak to the 9. Before anything is resolved, SWAT teams and government officials surround the building. No one is allowed in or out. It is revealed that the entire building is now under quarantine due to a confirmed outbreak of the ID7 virus. As chaos breaks loose, Derek is blindsided and attacked by the man he previously threatened. Derek retaliates by stabbing the attacker in the leg with a pair of scissors. He's nearly overwhelmed before a coworker intervenes and breaks up the fight. Soon, the entire office descends into madness as the virus takes full effect. Derek attempts to ride the elevator up to the boardroom, hoping to plead his case. Instead, the elevator is diverted, taking him down to a lower level. There, Derek is ambushed by several security guards tasked with subduing him. He is beaten until Ewan shows up to help, but they are outnumbered. Ewan is tragically killed in the fight, and Derek is knocked unconscious. He awakens in a dark storage room, handcuffed next to none other than Melanie Cross. After a brief argument, Derek proposes a truce. He suggests they work together to reach Kara Powell and settle both of their grievances. Melanie agrees, and using a makeshift phone, they begin planning their escape. Derek then calls someone important to the company, likely a major investor. He reports the internal chaos and corruption happening within the firm. John Towers, upon hearing about this betrayal, becomes furious. He immediately orders his bodyguards to go back to the storage room and rough Derek up again. However, when they arrive, Derek is already prepared. He ambushes them from behind, and the 2 bodyguards are beaten severely. Afterward, Derek and Melanie arm themselves with weapons, ready to continue their ascent toward the upper floor. Derek informs Melanie that they have only 6 hours left before the quarantine ends, and the only way to get to the executive floor is by obtaining access cards from specific people, namely Lester and Kara Powell, aka the Siren. Upon reaching the 6th floor, they spot Lester, who immediately runs into his office to hide. Suddenly, 2 more bodyguards sent by John Towers sneak up from behind and attack. Melanie is hit with a stun gun and collapses. Seeing this, Derek retreats to strategize. By now, the office is completely overrun with chaos. Every corner has devolved into violent outbursts. While Melanie is still unconscious, Lester approaches and begins assaulting her. Meanwhile, Derek defeats the 2 bodyguards by stabbing them, then rushes to help Melanie. When Lester sees Derek approaching, he retreats once more into his office. Eventually, they manage to get into Lester's office. Derek politely asks for the access card to the top floor. However, just as he reaches for it on the desk, Lester stabs Derek's hand with a pair of scissors and also attacks Melanie. In defense, Melanie uses a power saw to strike Lester. With Lester eliminated, Derek and Melanie record a threatening video message addressed to John Towers and the board of directors. In a panic, Towers calls Kara Powell and another board member, Irene Smythe, urging them to destroy their access cards. Kara instructs her assistant to hide hers. Running out of options, John Towers puts a bounty on Derek's head, $150,000 for any employee who can kill him. As Derek and Melanie arrive on Kara Powell's floor, they're ambushed by co-workers lured by the reward. Kara is also present. Derek attempts to negotiate, but it leads to a brutal fight. The scene is intense, especially with Melanie swinging a hammer and repeatedly striking one attacker. After a long and chaotic battle, Derek and Melanie defeat everyone. Like they did with Lester, they confront Kara Powell in her office. She tries to broker peace, offering Derek her access card in exchange for a truce. She calls in her assistant to return the hidden card, only to discover the assistant has already destroyed it. She has accepted a better offer from John Towers. Fed up with Kara's manipulation, the assistant kills her with scissors from the desk. Derek then video calls John Towers and shows him Kara's severed tongue as a warning. Later, while resting, Derek and Melanie are interrupted by a disturbing video message sent by John Towers. In the video, he mocks Derek by showing the body of Ewan, Derek's friend, being disrespected. Deeply upset, Derek is comforted by Melanie. Their bond strengthens in a moment of intimacy and release. They proceed to the IT department, asking the technician to hack one of the director's computers. Once done, Derek contacts the director and proposes an exchange, classified files in return for the access card. The director agrees to meet in person. To Derek's surprise, this director is the very person responsible for Melanie's eviction. Derek urges Melanie to stay calm during the meeting. Once they secure the access card, Melanie demands that the director sign a legal agreement to undo the foreclosure. Suddenly, another bodyguard arrives, sent by John Towers, and a new fight breaks out. Derek battles the guard while Melanie faces the director's wife in another room. Despite struggling, Derek ultimately kills him by driving a screwdriver into his skull. Melanie, meanwhile, defeats the director's wife. Returning to the room, Derek threatens the director's wife to gain her access card. As a countdown begins, Derek knocks Melanie unconscious with a blow to the head, tying her to a chair. With access secured, Derek boards the elevator to the executive floor. As the doors close, the director's wife realizes too late that she has been tricked. Derek has loosened the bolts on Melanie's chair so she can escape easily. In the end, Melanie kills the director's wife. Once on the executive floor, Derek is greeted ceremoniously. John Towers tosses him a partnership agreement and offers him a powerful position within the firm, complete with luxurious perks. Without hesitation, Derek declines. Then a woman sitting beside Towers suddenly tries to stab Derek with a shard of glass. He dodges, and the glass strikes another board member in the neck. Derek then punches the woman, knocking her out. Finally, the long-awaited showdown begins. Derek versus John Towers. Towers wields a golf club, while Derek arms himself with a heavy wrench. Their vicious fight is watched closely by the remaining board members. Ultimately, Derek overpowers Towers, striking him so hard that he is flung over a railing and crashes to the floor below. Afterward, Derek gathers the board and explains the corruption he has witnessed. He demands his job back. Instead, the board offers him the very partnership Towers had proposed. This time, Derek accepts. In the final scenes, Derek is shown attending an art class alongside Melanie, finally free from the corporate madness. And with that, the film ends.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. Because by subscribing, you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.